For all of you guys out there, you must be wondering, what are you going to do? What am I going to do with this thing? This thing here is good old mascarpone, and it's not just in your tiramisus. I'm going to make a pasta sauce with salmon that is going to be so zesty, creamy and citrusy that's going to want you leaving more. So come on over, watch the video, and I'm going to show you the best tips how to make the best mascarpone tagliatelle salmon pasta ever. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Food Revolution. This is Navin Karu, and as promised, I'm going to show you how to make a mascarpone tagliatelle salmon pasta that is going to be insane. So the first thing you need to do, and we're going to do this quick, and the first thing that you're going to do is we're going to boil this beautiful tagliatelle. This is made using Malaysian kampong eggs, Italian flour, and extra virgin olive oil. It needs to have a beautiful texture like this. This is cut by hand. It's cut by hand. It's made by machine and then sliced by hand. So you need a rolling boil for your pasta water. And I'm gonna cook this roughly for about 4 to 6 minutes so that it has beautiful texture and still bounce. And let me tell you something. A lot of people have this misconception saying that, oh, can you see that? It's just giving this guy a little bath inside here. That's what we want. And this pasta water has been salted. It has got a little bit of the flour inside that is going to help thicken the thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the mascarpone sauce as promised. So we've heated up a little bit of oil in the pan, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a bit of aromatics inside. And this aromatics, this is the base of our sauce. So just to show you right here, you've got chopped garlic, you've got chopped shallots, you have got the mascarpone, you have got the parsley, and we've got a little bit of warmed up olive oil. And to this, what we're going to add is the garlic. And this garlic is going to help simmer slowly. We don't want to burn the garlic. We're going to add the shallots to this as well. And we're going to gently cook this. And when we make this mascarpone sauce, we're going to make sure that we don't burn it, because you don't want all the garlic and things to burn, because what happens is you're going to have a very bitter sauce. So as it slightly comes to a boil, you can add a little bit more olive oil to this, and this extra virgin olive oil is going to give you immense flavor to your sauce. And remember, when you're making a sauce, you want to add the beautiful magic ingredients, which is you're going to touch a little bit of salt, you're going to touch a little bit of pepper. And for this sauce, we're going to add a little bit of rosemary. You want some aromatics in here. And remember, while your pasta is on boil, you got to shake it up and loosen it so that it doesn't stick together, which is really important. As you can see here, we're going to bring it, and we're going to make sure that we loosen the sauce. And when you loosen the pasta, what's going to happen is it's going to make sure that it cooks through immediately, which is really, really important. So remember, this cooks for about 4 to 6 minutes. We let this cook on here. Now we're going to add the mascarpone. This mascarpone is rich, it's thick, it's got almost a cheese cream-like consistency, and this is going to form the basis of the sauce, which is really, really luscious and rich. And to this, we're going to add a tiny bit of cream. We're going to add a tiny bit of cream to make sure we thicken the sauce and bring it together to give it a luscious texture. So as you can see, the cream and the mascarpone is going to work very, very well together, and we're going to let this simmer down slightly just to become beautifully luscious. So as this is going, you want to taste. As you go along, everything you want to taste. Just make sure. I think it needs a little bit more salt. This is how you save your dish. This is how you adjust your dish. This is how you make sure your dish is good. And while we're adding the sauce, we just want to add a bit of basil to this, because basil is wonderful. And we want to get that flavor. Basil, cream, and seafood go really well together. Best of friends, best of friends. Let it bubble, let it boil a little bit. Let the flavors come together. Bit more salt. Black pepper, Sarawak black pepper is really beautiful. At the same time, let the pasta cook. Can you see it's getting springy? It's getting nice, it's getting ready. So I'm going to let this sauce set aside. It's almost done. The texture of the sauce is beautiful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it aside. And when I put this aside, I'm going to start doing the salmon. So I'm going to put this aside. If you can focus on the pasta, Victor, you'll see how nice it is. Coming up like that. That's what we want. And while this pasta is boiling, we want to make sure we get the salmon on boil. It's really important that you make sure your pasta water is salted and beautiful. So what's most important here, we're using Norwegian salmon. We cube this beautiful salmon. Look at that. We cube that salmon. And this salmon we're going to put gently in the pan. And we want this salmon to sort of contact the pan, and we want to hear that sizzle. And that sizzle is what we want to hear. Because when we hear that sizzle, that is when you know you're doing your job. You don't want boiled salmon. Nobody wants boiled salmon. We want beautiful, luscious salmon. That luscious salmon flavor. So what we're going to do, we're going to season this salmon. And look, things can be done really fast. You got two hands. You can jiggle your pasta and you can season your salmon. Salt, pepper. Salt, pepper. Okay? Look at that. The searing is coming on really well. Beautiful flavor going inside there. And what we're going to do, we're not going to turn it around. We're going to let it rest on one side, because this salmon is sashimi grade salmon, meaning it's so fresh that you can eat it raw. There's no such thing as sashimi grade. It's a term for really, really fresh salmon. So now we're going to just jiggle the pan. You're going to jiggle the pan just to make sure that we're not breaking up. And that's what I want. Can you see that texture? Can you see that golden brown color? That is the magic moment. And then to add to this, what we're going to do, I'm going to off the fire soon, and I'm going to make sure that we get all that flavor inside. And I want to add a bit of garlic here. A little bit of garlic. This is an MSG-free fish stock that is dehydrated. So a little bit of like that. A little bit of olive oil coming on the base. So we're going to go like that. And we're going to do some butter basting. So the final moments of this dish, a bit of butter basting that's going to go on here. And we're going to take this butter and we're going to spoon the garlic and butter over the salmon. Like that. Can you get that point? That's what we want. And right now we're going to off the fire. The salmon has already cooked. We're going to add the finishing touches, which is the tomato confit, which goes on. Can you see that tomato confit, which is a combination of basil, tomato and garlic? We're going to finish this with a bit of parsley. Look at that. Can you see the bubbling of that? That is what we want. We're going to finish with a bit of capers, and this is going to be the topping for our sauce. So I'm going to set this aside. Victor, look at that. I want everyone to see that. I want everyone to see the magic of this sauce. This is what we want. So okay, once this rests aside, we see the pasta boiling here nicely. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to bring this mascarpone back on the boil, and we're going to plate up. We're going to use some of the pasta water. Victor, if you can come down here and see this. We're going to take, this is a very important step, guys, come up. I'm going to take the pasta water, I'll let some of the water drop on here, and I'm going to put the pasta in. That was a really important step, because you want it to thicken, you want it to be velvety. You want the pasta to reduce inside the water. That's so important. The pasta and the water and the mascarpone and the cream, they need to come together in this most beautiful way. And we're almost there. We're already going to plate up. So can you see the bubbling? Let it bubble. Let it thicken. Let it reduce. It has to happen that way, because the final cooking step. So if you're cooking this for 4 minutes, the last 2 minutes, allow it to bubble. Allow it to finish, to do its job. So now when we're going to get ready, we're going to see that. Can you see all the combination of the mascarpone, the cheese getting together, the cream, it's bubbling, it's getting ready, and we're almost ready to plate up. And what's important is to make sure that you do not overcook your salmon, you do not overcook your pasta. It's really important to protect these dishes like that. So what's going to happen now is we're going to start to plate up, and we're going to plate this beautiful mascarpone salmon. So we're almost ready here for the final touches. So you can see it's coming together, and we're going to do this really, really nicely, because it's so important that you get all this flavor onto the plate. So in a moment's notice, this is going to come onto the plate. The sauce has thickened, it's become velvety, and now we're going to start to plate up this beautiful sauce. So from the pan, I'm going to bring it like that. Beautiful one portion. I'm going to do one serving at a time, and I'm going to spoon all this goodness on top. All right, and I'm going to spoon some of that gravy. I think a little bit more for this gives you about 2 adult-sized portions. Okay, and I'm going to spoon some of that gravy, and you can just see that a little bit of that mascarpone lushness coming on. That's what we want. The mascarpone, not too much of it, because then we'll overpower the dish. You still want to be able to taste the salmon. You still want to be able to taste the noodles. We're going to wipe the plate a little bit so that it's all pretty and nice. And then for the final touches, we're going to put this golden, beautiful crusted salmon on top. And this is the layering of flavor that I promised with our videos, that this is explosive Italian-inspired flavors. The golden brown salmon, it's still crispy on the outside, but it's still pink in the inside. And having that, look at the luscious sauce. Look at that luscious sauce that has come from that dish. It's got everything that you ever want in a dish for a seafood dish. It's got the capers and that golden brown crispy salmon. I'm so unbelievably amazed with the sear on that salmon. And just to finish up this dish, just to finish up this beautiful dish, is we're going to just tear some basil on top, and we're going to just tear a little basil and just a bit bathe the salmon in some olive oil, and there you have it. A beautiful, amazing, gorgeous mascarpone, triple mascarpone salmon pasta that is just gonna knock your socks off. I want you to try this. Anybody you prepare this for, they're gonna love it and love you for it. So this is Navin Karu from the Food Revolution, signing out once again. Much love to you. It'll make a beautiful Christmas dish anytime. See you soon. Bye bye. Ciao.